Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is McKay Tebbs, and welcome to Audio Recording 2 class. I may be your instructor for this class, or you may be assigned a different instructor, but this is a syllabus video, and we're very excited to have you in this class. A little bit about me is I've been teaching in colleges and universities for many years now, and I started at SUU a couple years ago to help direct their commercial music program, a new program that was started because of the success of the Masters of Music Technology program that you're in. So the commercial music program is going well, and then I also teach in the master's program. I teach these audio classes, and I have a background in guitar playing and recording. I love to play my guitar, do it all the time, and to record on it. And anyway, I'm excited to have you in this class, and I hope that if you have questions, you'll reach out to me or your instructor, and feel free to send me an email. And if you like, we could try and introduce and meet up and get to know each other a little bit. But this class is a 7-week class that was basically a 14-week class condensed into 7 weeks. So there's a lot of work to do with it. But it's all about kind of the mixing side of audio recording. You should have already taken the audio recording 1 class prior to taking this class. And so you have that background already. But what we're going to really learn to do is how to polish a mix and make it sound professional, and then also how to continue to use Pro Tools and strengthen our abilities with that program. So I'm here today to go over the syllabus with you, and I'm going to put that up on the screen now. So here is the syllabus for audio recording 2. Feel free to send me an email if you ever have questions about anything. Here's my email address right here, mcktebbs@suu.edu. You can also just go to Canvas and find the name of your instructor, me or whoever it is, and just email through that. But this is my email address. Feel free to reach out. Also, my phone number. Sometimes that's an easy way to get a hold of me and ask me questions. So you can call me on the phone, and we can have a 5-minute conversation, and that'll solve the problem a lot quicker sometimes than just sending an email. So anyway, reach out to me and we can talk about things. So course description: this course is an in-depth study of the digital audio recording studio and its operations as it relates to the artistic, technical, and business elements of the music industry. Designed to build on concepts learned in MUSC 6323. That's the audio recording 1 class. And so yeah, but once again, it's all about mixing, and it's all about continuing to learn Pro Tools. In fact, one of the cool things is at the end of this class, if you work hard and do everything right, you will complete the last step in your Pro Tools certification, and you'll officially be Pro Tools certified. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But on the mixing side of things, we've got a really cool book we're working on called The Mixing Engineer's Handbook by author Bobby Owsinski. Now, if you were in the audio recording 1, then you already got the Recording Engineer's Handbook. And so this is kind of the companion volume of that. There's the recording engineer, there's the mixing engineer. So this one is all about mixing, and it's, like I said, how to polish a mix. And the ideas in this book are very important steps that you should always take when you're working on any mix and any DAW, try and make sure it sounds as polished and professional as it can be. So you're going to want to buy this book. This is the 5th edition of this book. At the moment, that's what it is, but they just barely came out with this 5th edition. And then over here is the Pro Tools 2 book, the Fundamentals 2 book, also known as the Pro Tools 110 book, not 101. I have to clarify, because once I had a student who bought the 101 book for this audio recording 2 class. Anyway, it put him back just a little bit. So make sure you buy the 110 book, not 101. Lots of numbers to mix up there. And here's a link to it in the syllabus. The best place to buy this Pro Tools book is right from the Avid website, and it's an ebook. And ebooks have advantages and the disadvantages, they're not a real book that you can hold, but you've got them on your computer. At the moment, that's probably the best way to access the book for this class, the Pro Tools book. So use this link, go to the Avid website, and you can find it on there to buy it. So those are the two books. If you haven't ordered those yet, do so today, right now, right after this video, because you won't be able to submit your work in this class without having these books at hand. So you need to get them in as quickly as you possibly can. Here's a list of other things you need, which is very similar to the things that you already had in the audio recording 1 class. So if you still have all those things, great. You need access to your internet, Wi-Fi. And I would recommend high speed just so it makes it easier to upload things. You can use your Windows computer, you can use your Mac computer, so either one should work. Also, you're going to need Pro Tools. It says here version 12.4. That's actually the old version, and we have moved on now. 2022.6 is the new version. I'm going to recommend you get that newer version. But if you have the older version, that's fine. We'll just make it work somehow. I mean, if you've already got it, just use what you've got. But if you're buying it, then go ahead and buy the new one. Access to any other preferred DAW. Some assignments may be submitted in a different DAW than Pro Tools, and that's fine. So if you want to use Logic Pro to do things, you can. If you want to use Ableton Live, that's fine. There's other DAWs, and I know they're all good, but just keep in mind that the Pro Tools assignments need to be done on Pro Tools, so you'll need Pro Tools. But there's other assignments. Some of the mixing assignments can be done in a different DAW, so you can decide which DAW you want to use for those. So plugins, most DAWs have plugins that you can buy, so you're going to need those to be able to add compression, EQ, reverb, and delay, which is a big part of mixing, and you're going to need access to those kind of effects. A MIDI controller, keyboard to plug into your computer, an audio interface and microphones, dynamic and condenser mics. I'm not going to be too specific, but you'll need to have those kind of mics. Access to your Google Drive. Once again, we're going to be uploading all of your assignments to your Google Drive folder. Your instructor from this class will be emailing you out a link to your folder where you're going to upload assignments to. So if you haven't got that link yet, anyway, just reach out to your instructor and ask for help about that. But it's the best way to submit work for this class because sometimes the audio files that we're working with are quite large and the DAW files are quite large. And so it allows the transferring of files. The easiest way is to get them in that Google Drive folder. All right, course requirements. This is very similar to the audio recording 1 class. So if you did that class, it's going to be very similar to that. Reading assignments. So the Mixing Engineer's Handbook has reading assignments every chapter. You're just going to do 1 chapter at a time and complete the reading assignment. And you can expect to find those questions from the reading assignment on the test. So you're answering the questions, but you're also studying them because you're trying to learn the material. So that when test time comes, you'll be able to do well on it. The Pro Tools 110 book does not have review questions or discussion questions like the Pro Tools 101 book does. So instead, it has these things called knowledge checks. These knowledge checks are a QR code, and you should be able to just click on it in the ebook, and it should take you to a web page where you do a knowledge check, or it's like a quiz, 10 questions, and anyway, that's what you're going to do it for each Pro Tools assignment. And with those knowledge checks, you can take them as many times as you want. Just take it over and over and over. And they're not timed, and you can look up each question as you go if you want. But those questions on the knowledge checks are going to be the questions you find on the test. So it's a good idea to get those knowledge checks down and do them. And then what you do is you submit the final page that has your score on it. Your score is out of 10, so whatever score you get, you can submit. And I guess what I'm saying is usually if you take it over and over again, you get better and better each time. So if you want to get the best score possible, you could just take it until you do. but whatever page you upload to me, so if it's 8 out of 10, you're going to get 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, or 10 out of 10. So anyway, the knowledge checks, there's no reading assignment or review questions for the Pro Tools book. You do those knowledge checks instead. In addition to that, we have mixing assignments. The Pro Tools book has exercise assignments, and yes, you do need to do those. Those are exercises that help you to gain experience in what that lesson is talking about. So you do those, but we also have mixing assignments we'll do where you have this song you're working on, and each week you're going to add something new to it. So you're going to start out by balancing it, then you're going to do some panning on it, then you're going to be adding some EQ, then you're going to be adding some effects, then you're going to add some compression. Each week you're going to build on this same song, which means you can, first of all, you can put it in whatever DAW you want. That project does not have to be in Pro Tools. Second of all, you're basically working on the same file from week to week, but every week you update that file and send me the newest version of it with what's being asked for that week. So anyway, there's assignments. Optional Zoom discussion forums. I just want to give us a chance to get to know each other, give you a chance to get to know your classmates, and to ask questions. And so we're going to have these optional Zooms. Optional because we're all in different time zones. And so, 12 o'clock might work for me, but that might be 3 o'clock in the afternoon for you, and you're just in the middle of stuff. So not everybody will probably be able to come to these Zoom meetings, but if you can, it'd be great. And it's a chance to connect with the people in your class and to ask questions about things you're thinking about. We have a sci-fi fantasy project. This is a fun project. It's where you get to create a movie soundtrack for a movie like Indiana Jones or Lord of the Rings, or fill in the blank for any sci-fi adventure film that you may have seen. The only thing I really want to stress with that is there is a music production sheet, and you read it, and what is being asked for is what you need to create. So I guess the challenge is some of you are used to doing your music in your genre, but for this, it's an assignment where you're actually pretending to be a company, and you have a client coming to you, and this client is asking you for a specific piece of music, and it's your job to create as accurately as you can the music being asked for, with all the descriptors that are on the page, all the instrumentation that is on the page. So it's very important that you do your homework there to prep for that. And because otherwise you'll send me your rough draft and I'm going to hear it and I'm going to say, you know what, you missed the mark. You need to go back and read the paper, because we're looking for sci-fi adventure music, not R&B music, or we're looking for sci-fi adventure music, not hard rock music. So I guess what I'm saying is you may be used to creating in your specific genre, but for this assignment, you need to try and create in a different genre and try to make it sound like that genre. There's also a midterm and final projects for this class, and for both of those projects, you're going to have specific instructions telling you how to do it. And there's tests. Canvas has tests loaded into them that you're going to take. And those tests will be made of questions from the reading assignments and questions from those knowledge checks. So you're going to want to make sure you know all the answers to those questions before you take the test. The final test is going to include the Pro Tools 110 certification exam. So anyway, that's going to be part of the final test. And whatever you get on that Pro Tools exam is going to be what you get for that part of the test. The other part of the final test is going to be the Mixing Engineer Handbook reading assignment questions. So anyway, let's talk about student learning outcomes. And just quickly, since we're mentioning it, let's just jump down to the Pro Tools certification thing. So this is new at SUU, and I'm very excited about it because I've been working so hard to do the paperwork for this, and it has not been easy, and it has not always been fun, but I am so excited to offer you the opportunity to be Pro Tools certified. And here's what you have to do to be certified. I'm going to zoom in here. Basically, it's these two classes here, the Pro Tools 101 class and the Pro Tools 110 class. So if you pass the Pro Tools 101 class and the Pro Tools 110 class, then you become an Avid certified user. And in this class, audio recording 2, we're doing the Pro Tools 110 class. So we're doing the book and we're doing the exam. Each class has the book that you work through, and then at the end you do an exam, a 50-question exam, and you have to pass with 40 out of 50 in order to pass the exam. If you get at least 40 on it, you pass, and hooray. The Pro Tools 101 class is connected to the audio recording 1 class that you already took. If you haven't taken that class, then you probably haven't done the 101 stuff. And without doing that part of the class, you won't be able to finish the Avid certification. So, but if you recently have done the audio recording 1 class with us here at SUU, then you probably have done this Pro Tools 101. So once again, you do both classes. Each class has a 50-question test. You have to pass each of those exams by 40 out of 50. And when you do that, you get certified. So what does certification mean? Well, there are benefits to being certified, and I have them listed here. But there's also this link on the syllabus I want to show you. Click into this link and you can find out more about what it means to be Pro Tools certified and what the benefits are of that. And anyway, you'll be what they call a Pro Tools certified user, and that's something that you can use as you're applying for jobs. There are more Pro Tools certifications beyond that that later on you could go back and get, but this is the first level certification, and it's worth working on, and it does demonstrate that you have certain skills and competencies with the software. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. And then also student learning outcomes. By the end of this course, you'll have created a portfolio with 2 or 3 complete multi-track recordings. Remember the sci-fi fantasy project, the midterm project, the final project. So those are all songs that you can start having in your portfolio when you share your work with people. You're going to learn how to create musical examples in a specific genre. Like I said, you want to try and hit that genre specifically and put your own musical tastes and preferences on the side a little bit. But you're also going to learn how to apply balance, panorama, frequency, dimension, dynamic elements. What does that mean? It's all in the Mixing Engineer's Handbook, and that's where you're going to be learning what it means. But balance is the level of your faders, how to balance out the faders so that the right tracks are being emphasized and not being overrun by other tracks. Panorama is panning, so how to turn the knobs so that the panning is good. Frequency is EQ. Dimension is effects like reverb and delay. Dynamics is compression and limiting. So how to add all those elements into your mix. Working with Elastic Audio can change pitch and tighten performances. Elastic Audio is really great because you can take a crummy performance that somebody did and you can polish it up and make it sound perfect. Sometimes you don't want it perfect, but you can definitely move the notes to match the beat. And as a recording or mixing engineer, that's super important because sometimes you're working with whatever you have, but you have to make it sound professional and you have to make it sound tight. We're also going to talk about automation, editing and writing automation. So that's at the end when you're mixing, it's common to have automation on parameters like the volume. So you automate a fade in or fade out. You can also put it on effects. So there's automation. We're going to talk about track grouping, creating submixes. So anyway, a lot of really important stuff in this class. And at the end of this, we have a week-by-week class schedule. Every week, we're doing 1 module of work. And if you're ever wondering what module is due when, look here on the syllabus. It's all written. It tells you exactly what you're doing for every week. So here in module 1, we're doing the syllabus. That's what you're doing today. You're watching the video. Lesson 1 and lesson 2. If it says lesson, it means the Pro Tools books. Pro Tools book doesn't have chapters. It has lessons in it. So those are the first 2 lessons in the Pro Tools book. And then chapter 3 and chapter 4 are out of the Mixing Engineer's Handbook. So this is all what we're doing in the first week. And each lesson has an exercise that goes with it. Exercise 1 and exercise 2 are for lesson 1 and lesson 2. And then the reading assignments are going to be for the Mixing Engineer's Handbook. In addition to that, you're going to be planning your sci-fi fantasy project. It's making a plan this week. And then you're also going to be doing a mixed preparation exercise. So you're going to work with a track called The Wind. You're going to download all the audio files and upload them into the DAW of your preference. And then you're going to basically be just setting things up in there to get ready to continue to work on it in the weeks to come. Very important here, all assignments and tests for week 1 are due by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Sunday is the deadline every week. Every module for every week has to be turned in by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So just keep that in your mind that Sunday's the deadline. And I guess the nice thing about this is it gives you all week to do your work and the weekend. And I know that some of you are working full time as you're in this class, so it's really hard for you to do stuff during the week. But you'll have all weekend. You'll have till Sunday at 11:59 to get everything done. And so anyway, mark that on your schedules, on your calendars, and just make sure you're planning for Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Here is a week by week, module by module breakdown of your work. Notice that module 4 is midterm week and there's no lessons. There is a couple of chapters. Oh, by the way, this says chapter 11 and 12, but chapter 11 and 12 are on the same page. So it's really just one chapter there that's due. And anyway, after you get to module 7, that's it. The class is over. By the way, this is a 14-week class condensed into a 7-week time period. So yes, there's a lot of work to do here. And so just do your best to manage things and to get things turned in. But I will tell you that if you do all your work and turn it in every week, you're going to get a great grade. Most people get an A in this class. The way that you don't do well in this class is if you stop submitting assignments and then I have to start giving you zeros on those assignments, your grade starts to fall really fast. So it is fast paced, but that's just the way this whole program is structured. So here's the grading policy. It tells you the points for everything, how many points everything is worth. And then down here at the bottom, it tells you the percentages for grades. An A would be 94% to 100%. An A minus is 90 to 94. So just keep that in mind. And very important at the end, late work policy. Late work will only be accepted for half credit. So yeah, so if you're running behind, if your work is late, yes, you can still turn it in, but you'll get half credit for it. And the best idea is to just keep up on it and to turn it in on time. But I do realize that you're going to have emergencies happen and stuff will be going on in your personal life. So here's my advice. Reach out to your instructor, me, if that's the case, reach out to your instructor and let your instructor know what's going on in your personal life. Because I would be happy to work with you and to help you to meet deadlines, but I can't do that if you don't talk to me and let me know what's going on. So please don't be afraid to do that. I am here to help and I want to help. But what I do want to avoid is a student not doing any work. And then the last week comes and they're like, oh, I got to do all my work this week. And they try to do it all in 1 week, which just isn't going to happen. There's just too much to do it all in 1 week anyway. But if you're constantly like submitting your work late like that, you're just not going to get full credit for it. You could get some credit, but half credit is how it's going to work. All right, and that is it. So that's the syllabus. I once again want to remind you to go and buy the textbooks if you haven't done that yet, because you won't be able to start submitting assignments without those books. But I'm excited to have you in this class, and I hope that I get to know you better. I hope that you'll reach out to me. We can have opportunities to interact. And please let me know if you have any questions. Send me an email, and we could set up a time to meet if you want. We could talk about it, or just ask a question in the email. But welcome to this class, and I hope you have a great experience in it. So I'll see you in the next video.